students, welcome to the online teaching video from Sri Shankaracharya Vidyalaya. Today we are going to study the third part, that is the last part from the chapter Drainage from Geography. Earlier we have studied about the term drainage, what does it mean, about the drainage basin, about the concept of water divide, and the drainage systems in India. So we have studied about the Himalayan rivers, we have studied about the peninsular rivers in the last videos, and we came to know about the new words like perennial. We have studied about the how that perennial, that is the water throughout the year, the rivers getting what are the sources, then what are the type of drainage patterns we have studied, how the features made by the rivers that we have studied. We have studied about the river system, the Indus river system. We have studied about the Ganga river system. We have studied about the Brahmaputra river system. Then we have good knowledge about the peninsular rivers, the Narmada basin, the Tapi basin, the Godavari basin, the Mahanadi basin. All these are studied well and explained through the proper videos, and the Krishna basin, the Kaveri basin. Now today we are going to study a very important and very interesting part of this whole chapter, that is the lakes. Yes, whenever we talk about the lakes, it comes to our mind that it's a beautiful place to go for a tourist spot, as a tourist spot, and to roam over there in the boats, the beautiful boats, lakes, means there is a full of water, there is a trees, there are gardens. But today we are going to study about the different forms of lakes and its the uses. So we are very familiar with the valley of Kashmir and famous Dal Lake, the houseboats and shikaras which attract thousands of tourists every year. Okay, we have visited also, every one of you have visited various tourist spots near a lake, enjoyed boating, swimming and other water games. Now imagine if Srinagar, Nainital and other tourist places do not have a lake, would they have been attracted as they are for today? So it is importance of lakes in making the place attractive to the tourists. It is one of the major point that should be noted, that apart from attraction for the tourists, lakes are also useful in human beings in many ways. That's we are going to study. Now before that, we should have a knowledge about India has many lakes. They differ from each other in size and characteristics. Most of the lakes are permanent. Some contain water during the rainy season, while like the lakes in the basins in inland drainage of semi-arid areas. Now, we can say some of the lakes which are the result of action of glaciers and ice sheets, while others have formed by wind, river actions and human activities. So let us study more features from the meandering rivers. See, I have a picture for you, the beautiful lake. This is a clean water lake, okay, and a natural lake. Some lakes are artificial also, we will read later. I am coming up with the topic also. See, a meandering river across a floodplain forms cutoffs that latter develops into a oxbow lakes. Spits and bars form the lagoons in the coastal areas. That is the example we can get the Chilka Lake, the Pulicat Lake and Koleru Lake. The lakes in the region of inland drainage, sometimes seasonal, for example the Sambhal Lake in Rajasthan, which is a saltwater lake. It is the only saltwater lake. It is water is used for producing salt. So this type of lakes, these are the meandering water across a floodplain that forms the cutoffs and develops into the oxbow lakes. Then most of the freshwater lakes are in Himalayan regions also that we can find. that are of glacial origin. Whenever we are talking about the Himalayan region lakes, they are mainly of glacial origin. In other words, they form when glaciers dug out a basin, which later filled with snow melt. For example, we can take here the Wular Lake in Jammu and Kashmir. In contrast, there is a result of tectonic activities also over there. It is the largest freshwater lake in India. That other than this, the Dal Lake, the Bhimtal, then Nainital, Lotak and Barapani are some of the important freshwater lakes. So we can have a picture to get a good conception from the concept of the how this is formed. This is the Meander, this is the Oxbow Lake. We can see the river source. It is coming from the upper to the middle and lower course. While in the middle course, it is forming the meanders and Oxbow lakes. So we are coming up with the next slide of a picture. You can see from here also. It is the lake, Oxbow Lake. Okay, how these rivers are moving as turns, and after a cutting of this place with the formation of the stills later, it is forming a separate structure like the Oxbow lakes. Yes, the clean pictures. This is the original flow of the rivers. It is a cut and stage 1, and this is the stage 3 stage, last stage. It's the river, meanders are there, and it is the ultimatum. So some lakes are artificial lakes. Okay, some lakes are artificial. Apart from the natural lakes, the rivers for generation of the hydel power has led to the formation of the lakes, such as Guru Gobind Sagar, that is forming of the Vakranagal project. Lakes are of great value to human beings also. A lake helps to regulate the flow of river. So let us see some of the pictures of artificial lakes. Here is the artificial lake. It's a beautiful picture that is artificially made for some purpose. Here is some more pictures for artificial lakes over here. It is used for generating the hydroelectricity. Lakes, the valley of Kashmir and Dal Lake. Lake of large extent are called the seas, Caspian Seas and Aral Sea. India has many lakes. Most lakes are permanent, contain some water during the rainy season, but lakes like basins in inland drainage of semi-arid regions, result of action of glaciers and ice sheets formed by wind, river action and human activity. Just now we discussed about this. Now there is some importance of the lakes. What is the importance of lake? It helps. So lakes we can say are great value to human beings. A lake helps to regulate the flow of river. During heavy rains, it prevents flooding, and during the dry season total, it helps to maintain the flow of water. Lakes can also be used for developing hydel power, just now I said. They moderate the climate of the surroundings. When there is a lake watery part, they moderate the climate of the surroundings, maintain the aquatic ecosystem. That is, it gives the place for the aquatic animals and aquatic plants and animals, both flora and fauna we are talking about. When we are talking about both, we are talking about the ecosystem as a whole. Enhance the natural beauty, because I just now we discussed that it may create a beautiful tourist spot, and it's a very attractive for each and every person, and it develops tourism and provide recreation. Obviously tourism gets whenever there is a tourism spot, it helps in the developing of the economy of the country, and it creates the recreational place for the people also. Here the importance of rivers in our national economy, we say, that is in agriculture, in supply of fish, that is we can make the fisheries, that is fishiculture, and the trade and commerce, source of economy, the source of power, that is we just now we discussed about the hydel power, influence of life. It controls the whole of the ecosystem as a whole. Role of rivers in economy. From ancient times, river banks attracted settlers as the water from the rivers is a basic natural resource essential for various human activities. So, rivers are used for irrigation, navigation, and hydropower. If we talk about the waterways and water communication, for water communication regarding the trade and commerce, it is also the rivers which help us for all these waterways communications. See, role of rivers in economy. Here is a picture of making the high flow of the water from the dams, and we can use it for producing the hydroelectricity. It is for the navigation purpose. We have picture for fisheries, person showing that net, that is, it is useful for making the fisheries as a profession for earning economy. Here is a plant for electricity, making hydroelectricity. It looks like this. Here is a boating, that is, it makes a good place and very attractive place for tourism. Now there are some negative factors which act a very hazard for the environment and for the human beings also. That is the river pollution. Let us study about the river pollution now. The growing domestic, municipal and industrial and agricultural demands for water from the rivers naturally affects the quality of the water. As a result, more and more water is being drained out of the rivers, reducing their volume. On the other hand, a heavy load of untreated sewage and industrial effluents are emptied into the river. If we talk about the pesticides, insecticides that has been used, chemical fertilizers used in the agricultural fields also, they are also being drained in the river. So, effects are not only quality of the river but also self-cleaning the capacity of the water. For example, the adequate stream flow, Ganga river water is able to dilute and assimilate the pollution loads within 20 kilometers of the large cities. But what happens, the negative part is that the increasing urbanization and industrialization do not allow it to happen, and the pollution level of the many rivers has been rising. So, let us see how the rivers are getting polluted. Here's a picture. You can see the Taj Mahal over there at along, and the Yamuna river is a picture of the Yamuna river. We are much in talk in the papers and news that how it's getting polluted. Here is toothpick, how it is polluted, and the fresh water is hard to see. These are all the waste that has been thrown in the rivers, which are animals, those who cannot filter the water, they are also having this water, consume this water. We are also human beings, we are consuming this water also through treatment, but it is not that enough. So before throwing this water or draining this water, polluted water into the river, it should be treated well. Now, concern over the rising pollution in our rivers led to the launching of various action plans to clean the rivers. One of the very famous and important action plan is NRCP, that is National River Conservation Plan. What is the National River Conservation Plan? NRCP is a centrally sponsored scheme been implemented by the central government jointly with the state government in cost sharing basis 70:30% and ratio. The scheme presently cover identified polluted stretches of 39 major rivers in 185 towns spread over 20 states in the country. So they have taken a plan with the help of the central government to clean up these places and take care of the human beings and the whole of the aquatic animals and control of the ecosystem as a whole. See the results, some of the results, how it has been treated and the places have been cleaned. So this is a very interesting part of the lake and river pollution. This is the end of your chapter for drainage with this last video, and thank you to be with me, and welcome. Bye.